Welcome to Q&A practice. Let's get started with just some two voice. Get warmed up, and we will then do some four voice practice. Ready? So we'll start with defense. Here we go. Now, first of all, this document was prepared by you, was it not? Yes, sir, it was. And it was prepared on March 18? Yes, sir, it was. And it recites a series of discussions that you had with Mr. Stanton and others starting on or about March 16, doesn't it? That's correct. All right, I want you to tell us in your own words, starting with Monday, March 16th, the circumstances. First of all, did you attend a meeting on that date with Mr. Weeks in Mr. Stanton's office? Part of the meeting was in his office. Yes, sir. All right, suppose you tell us what occurred at that time at the meeting. Yes, sir. Mr. Weeks asked that we accompany him to meet Mr. Stanton to confirm that we were asking him to put in additional funds or sell the store. I think that he felt at the time that Mr. Stanton would want us to back him up because he didn't feel that he would have believed him. That's what Mr. Weeks told me. All right, please tell us what occurred on that evening. Well, we met at Mr. Stanton's office. It was suggested because of the hour that we go downstairs to the restaurant in the building and have dinner and talk over dinner, which we did. All right, will you tell us the substance of the conversation? I really can't remember what was said. I can give you pretty much the substance, but that's going back 2 years. Well, just tell us the substance of it because I assume you are going to have to testify about this for your own counsel. You might as well tell us the substance of it. I told them that night that I was unable to give them any figure at that time. Mr. Weeks and his accountant had been working on it, and Mr. Weeks had the figures to give to them. Was anything else said at that time? Well, it went almost 5 hours. There was a lot said, but I understand, but was there anything else said in substance at that time? Not that I can remember. Right, just a little warm up, get our fingers moving. Now we'll try some four voice practice. And we will start with the plaintiff. Ready? And I don't anticipate you understand all the ins and outs of that federal rule of civil procedure, but do you understand as a general matter that you've been designated by your attorneys to speak on behalf of Ryder North? Yes. Now, as a general matter, when I refer to you today, I mean the corporation and not you specifically. Sure. Your answers are on behalf of Ryder North. You understand that, correct? Yes. And your answers are based on the collective knowledge of Ryder North's employees and officers. Do you understand that? Yes. If you answered a question that you don't know or don't have any knowledge regarding it, what you are in effect saying or answering is that Ryder North does not know. Do you understand that? Yes. And as we go through the questions today, if you don't know an answer, but you know somebody in Ryder North who would know the answer, I'd like you to give me that information. Sure. Is that fair? Now, what did you do to prepare for the deposition? Today, I read over the document you just handed to me through the list of topics. Let me just caution the witness. You can tell him that you talked with me, but our conversations are confidential, so don't disclose the subject matter. Okay, I went over the list of topics and then discussed it with counsel. Okay, did you speak with anybody at Ryder North in preparation for the deposition today? If I had any questions on some of the topics, then yeah, I might have talked to a couple people to get clarification on some of the questions or topics. Please identify those people who you spoke with. Really, only one person, Susan West. So when you said you spoke with a couple of people, was that a misstatement? Yeah, it was. Susan West was the person that I spoke to, our CFO. Okay, why don't we go off the record for a moment? Okay, so you spoke with one person in preparation for the deposition today, and that's Susan West. West. Is that W-E-S-T? W-E-S-T. W-E-S-T. And that is her position, CFO. And she's CFO of Ryder North Limited. Yes. Is she a CFO of Ryder North US as well? Ryder North US doesn't have a CFO. Does she operate in that capacity for Ryder North US, if for nothing else, efficiency? Well, Ryder North US is a subsidiary of Ryder North Limited, so in essence, yeah. Okay, what did you talk to Ms. West about? I just wanted to get an understanding of the information that was provided in some of the documents that were produced, some of the financial information, better understanding of how it was obtained. Okay, and can you be a little bit more specific than that? What documents are we talking about? Sales figures, margin figures. Okay, so are we talking specifically about the spreadsheet that was provided by Ryder North to Western? I'd have to see what spreadsheet you're talking. It was a spreadsheet. I mean, that's where the data was in. If you've got an example of the spreadsheet, I can take a look at it and verify yes or no if that's okay what it was. And Excel spreadsheet was produced to us in electronic form. Is that the spreadsheet that you're talking about? If it contained all of the sales, the history and the sales information, like from 2003 forward, then yes. Did you speak with Susan West about anything else? No, it was primarily about those spreadsheets. Was it exclusively about those spreadsheets or just primarily? I don't think anything else was covered but the spreadsheet information, where the information came from, what was the basis for the information. Okay, when did you speak with her? It was last night. Did you speak with anybody else at Ryder North US, Ryder North Limited, or Ryder North China in preparation for the deposition today? No. Now, when I say Ryder North US, Ryder North China, Ryder North Limited, you understand who I'm talking about? Yes, I do. All three of the defendants, the current defendants in the case. You understand that, correct? I understand. Okay, and by the way, if at any time you do not understand a question, please let me know. Sure. You're entitled to have a clear question when I may not always be able to give you on the first try. Sure. Did you review any documents in preparation for the deposition today? Yes. What was the volume of documents that you reviewed? What do you mean by the volume of documents? Was it a great number of pages of documents or small number of pages of documents? Depends on how you define small and great. Can you identify any of the documents that you reviewed in preparation for the deposition today? The briefs, the expert report, obviously this document that we talked about, and the document you're referring to is Deposition Exhibit 1. Yes, the spreadsheet we just talked about with the sales information. I think that captures everything. And when did you review these documents? Was it this weekend? Yes. Okay, now you refer to briefs that you reviewed. Do you remember specifically what briefs you reviewed? I don't remember the names. If you had some copies of them, I could take a look at them and tell you, yeah, I looked at that one, or didn't look at it. Do you remember the subject matter of the briefs? One of them had to do with affirmative defenses or something. Another one was a damages report. Gosh, I don't remember. I'm sorry to interrupt. No, go ahead. Was the damages report by Rick Collins? Yes. Did you review the damages reports of Steve Sloan as well? No. Okay, so getting back to the briefs, did you review motions for summary judgment on Ryder North's affirmative defenses? Does that ring a bell? I honestly don't remember the names of the briefs. If I saw copies of them, I could look at them and probably realize what it was that I looked at. That will conclude our Q&A practice.